Shalom. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that taught us His word. Um, Basically, I just wanted to get into this so-called holiday known as Halloween, and just get a little backstory on it and the origins of it and how it originated from, basically human sacrifices, witchcraft, demonic, demon, Satanism, and how you're not, supposed to be participating in that. You're not supposed to, take your kids out that night and dress them up as ghouls and goblins or whatever. You're not supposed to have anything to do with that night because it's a very wicked night. A lot of human sacrifices goes on, and a lot of people are really ignorant to the history of it. They think it's just a night where you go out and get candy and dress up, have parties or whatever. But I got this article right here from off history.com. History of Halloween, ancient origins of Halloween. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, or pronounced Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in that area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest, and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. Celts believed that on that night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to the earth. In addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the druids and the Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. For a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort and direction during the long dark winter. To commemorate the event, druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads, skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. Being a psychic, which, is going off. The celebration was over, or when the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening, from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming winter. So yeah, here's another site entitled theglobaltruth.net, a list of satanic sacrificial days, which is accurate. Statistics on missing persons in the United States are difficult to find, but are appalling. The following missing persons estimates are from the Kyle Felchman Foundation. American people are reported missing on a daily basis. Human trafficking is very real and huge activity worldwide. It's big business, This is Satan's kingdom, Satan's world, so a lot of that sacrificing is going on, man. Among other uses, trafficked people are a pool of victims for a selection for the occult human sacrifices. Marianne estimates tens of thousands of sacrifices routinely occur worldwide on the dates on the calendar. So yeah, it's just the cult calendar, and as you can see, you got the Northern Kingdom. They're heavy into that, human sacrificing, which, I mean, he was totally going off on that, man. Here's this huge yearly calendar of what these guys are doing. Yeah, October 13th through the 30th. That's preparation for All Hallows Eve, or Samhain, Halloween, abduction, holding a ceremonial preparation of individuals for human sacrifice. 13 backward, the Halloween date. Another high holy days, Satanism. October 30th to the 31st is, Halloween night. They do blood and sexual, orgies, blood sacrifices, sexual climax, association with the demons, animal and or human sacrifice, any age, male or female, from like toddlers all the way up to adults. So in the music industry and the film industry, they're heavily into this. Your favorite rapper, your favorite actor, actress, they're doing all this, on that night, because they're heavy into that. Say you gotta bow down to Satan. This is what they do. This is their calendar. Next site is from mysterybabylon.org. The Halloween Connection. We've discovered Easter's pagan origins in the Easter Connection. Now we'll see that most of all the elements of our Halloween holiday also could be traced back to ancient pagan superstitions, traditions, as well as rituals. Scroll down here. I'll start right here. Now, in the true spirit of duality, Nimrod was now considered not only the god of life and rebirth, but the god of death and the underworld. So he and the sun god who revitalized him, Baal, Molech, were now subjects of every pagan sacrifice that had to be had on this day. Simple. Yeah, because all these old gods, going back to Babylonians, Nimrod, they're all back as different names, It's all the same god, the same demon, the god that they worship, but they just go by different names. Returning to our subject of sacrifice, we now discover that there were a few ways to maximize the way a learned pagan would provide sacrifice to these gods through human sacrifices. Human sacrifice seemed to be the ultimate ritual sacrifice, here allowing the practitioner the maximum amount of power gained through it. That's the reason why they do it. They gain power through these demons. This is Satan's kingdom. So if you want power, you gotta bow down to Satan. You want money, riches, fame, you gotta bow down to Satan. You gotta take part in these festivals, these rituals. Returning to our subject of sacrifice, we now discover there are a few ways to maximize the way a learned pagan would provide sacrifice to these gods, allowing the practitioner to maximize the maximum amount of power gained through it. This practice, believe it or not, even seemed to expand to one taking their own children and slaughtering them for the cause. Yes, as horrible as all of this might sound, it all had a purpose. The younger, more innocent a human sacrifice seemed to look to the gods, the more it seemed to appease them. That's why it's always children going missing. Those old milk carton children, have you seen me babies, little milk cartons, they were kidnapped and sacrificed. This would, on the other end, give more power to the practitioner doing this horrible thing. Simple, but still horrifying. Yeah, skip down to here. This was the major reason why, in biblical times, vast numbers of children were made to pass through the fire unto Baal, Molech, i.e., the sun god. That's what we did. That's what our people went off on. You know, a lot of them, made their children to pass through the fire of Molech. That's written in Jeremiah 32:5. And they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire of Molech, which I commanded them not. Neither came it into my mind that they should do this abomination, to cause Judah to sin. And the valley of the son of Hinnom, that's basically where that hell doctrine originated from. Basically it was just this valley, and it had this big bonfire, and they would sacrifice, take dead bodies there, dead animals, burn them up. That's the origin of that hell doctrine, man. There's no place in the middle of the earth, with the guy with the pitchfork that's gonna burn you and stab you to death, man, for all eternity. You just burn in for all eternity. Nah, that came from this right here. This is Isaiah 30:33. For Tophet, and that's just another name for, Valley of Hinnom, or Gehenna. It's also named as Gehenna, or Tophet. For Tophet is ordained of old, yea, for the king it is prepared. He hath made it deep and large. The pile thereof is fire and molten wood, and the breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, doth kindle it. Yeah, if you look up that word, Tophet, the Hebrew word there is Thapatha. It's a place of fire, a place in the southeast end of the valley of the son of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem. Place of burning and burying of dead bodies, to burn, hence to burn. So yeah, that's where that whole hell doctrine originated from, man. But yeah, just wanted to bring out a couple scriptures on that, some articles on the history of Halloween. There's a lot more stuff, but I just want to keep it real basic, and how you're not supposed to participate in that. Not for Israel, not Israelites. It's a very dark, demonic day. It's like the most human sacrificing goes on during that time. I think it's like the highest day out of the entire year for human sacrificing, man. All the elites get together, all the Satanists get together, and they do stuff like that, man. So, it's not fun. You're not supposed to, take your kids out. You're supposed to, dress up in these costumes, go to these parties or whatever, because you're participating in it. Whether you don't think you are, you really are participating in it. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Shalom.